Hey guys, it's Kim. Welcome back to another episode of a tarot story. I'll be telling you a story about the Fire Clan, which is the 10 chapters of the Fire Clan, or the 10 cards in the Suit of Wands. Before I begin though, I just want to kind of share with you a little bit about what I've been up to for the past week. Let me just say the past week has been hectic, and it's been a hell of a week, and it's just been really dramatic. You know, so many things has happened. There was a couple of days where I feel like the world has gone to shit. Trump is the American president, so many hate crimes, it's so polarized right now, there's so much unrest and hate and just bickering over each other, and I was really sad last week. That was one week where I could not really sort of be in the space of light and love. I kind of just want to take the time to let you guys know that if you are like me, if you're like really bitter and sad and angry and overwhelmed with these emotions for the past week, and maybe you still are right now, I think I just wanted to let you know that it's totally okay. The sort of popular narrative would be you have to choose love and you have to choose forgiveness. But I think it's also really important to really sit with your emotions and just feel whatever that needs to be felt, because you can't push it down. It's part of you, right? Your feelings are part of you, and it's totally okay. You know, to give time, dedicate time and space for yourself, for you, you know, to really sit with yourself and sit with your emotions and kind of just let them happen. I mean, you shouldn't take it out on anybody, of course, but I think it's important to process those emotions, because if you don't, they're just gonna get pent up. It's gonna get wrapped up into a bitter ball, just plummets right down into your shadow self, and it's gonna get projected somewhere if you don't like sort of look it in the eye, and if you don't, you know, have a conversation with it properly. So make sure you do that for your so-called shadow emotions. You don't have to be in a space of forgiveness all the time. You know, just don't take it out on people. Just journal or meditate or go for a walk. Just ride those emotions and then just finish that wave, and then come back to yourself and ask yourself, what can you do with that ball of negative energy, and then channel into something positive. You know, just allow yourself to be human. But yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna get started with this video. Okay, so the history of the Fire Clan, Chapter 1. Ace of Wands obviously represents the spirit of the Fire Clan. You know, it's about this group of visionaries and geniuses and passionate leaders. They're coming together and they want to create something. They want to create a future that's so bright that it blinds them to even think about it, but yet they're so excited to go for it because this is what they believe in. It's kind of like as above so below, and then their heart is already in the future, and then their body just has to catch up, and this is the spirit of the Wands, or of the Fire Clan. So that's sort of the prologue, or chapter 1, but let's move on to chapter 2. So chapter 2, or the numerological number 2, or 2 of Wands, two people, basically two types of visions, they come together. They come together to discuss their visions for the future. So they're talking about, like, should we go this way? Should we go that way? Which one is the best way to expand or to manifest the spirit of our clan? What's the best way to fulfill that vision? So they each have their ideas and perspectives, and they're coming together to sort of discuss, like, you know, like, what should we do? And then it's not like out of a dilemma, or it's not indecision like the Two of Swords. But the Two of Wands is about like this kind of exploring the potential and possibilities within each perspective and within each idea, and they're just excited by the fact that, oh, there's so many ways in which we could be Wands, in which we could be Fire Clan. They're trying to just like sit with that feeling of excitement and sit with those visions and decide where they want to go from there. Okay, so in chapter 3, or 3 of Wands, this is when magical cooperation happens. And because Fire Clan, you know, the members of the Fire Clan, they're really idealistic. So they're defined by their ideals and their visions. And their ideals are usually very abstract. You know, they're chasing a concept and they're trying to materialize and manifest that concept. So in a way, it's really easy for them to kind of band together as a group of people, because they could each bring something different to the table. As long as their vision, the bigger picture, is the same, they would know how to work towards it together as a group of people. They could just kind of work collectively as a group to realize, to go after that bigger purpose. And in chapter 4, 4 of Wands, so this is when their vision or their goals they have sort of become more rooted in the world. So this is where they established it, where they establish their clan, and they're no longer chasing, but I mean they're still expanding. But this is when they say, "This is who we are. This is what we have this is what we have come to achieve, and come visit us." This is where they get to a point where they are capable of producing their own magic, but also attracting more followers and more people interested in becoming part of the Fire Clan. So this is where they really flourish. So when it gets to chapter 5, this is when disagreement happens. Just rolling on my sleeves here. So in 501, or chapter 5, this is when they start to disagree with each other because, after they've come so far, the individual members, they obviously start to individualize. They kind of had, they sort of grow more into their voice. They embody their voice more. They might have a different opinion. They might have a firmer opinion about where they want to go, where they want to take the clan's vision, and how they want to go about it. So this is when they really start to disagree with each other. They start to have different intentions or desires. The bigger picture might still be the same, but this is when they sort of start to question if there's like another way of doing things. So in a way, it's like a good thing and a bad thing, because in a way it's like positive competition where they get to sort of compare ideas and brainstorm and sort of learn from each other, give each other constructive feedback and also grow from there. But it could also be a bad thing if they don't resolve the conflict properly, as is the nature of all chapter 5s. 5 is kind of like a conflict card or a conflict number. So on the bad side, if they don't properly sort of settle their disagreements, if they don't really solve their conflicts, they're going to be faced with sort of negative competition where they try to push, where they try to push each other down, where they try to oppress each other's voices, where they can't cooperate with each other. So this is either a chance for them to grow as a group of people and expand even more, or they can disintegrate and fall apart and the spirit of the fire is no more. But yeah, because of the nature of the 5, because of all the conflicts that's been going on, I think it's easy to sort of lose the bigger picture. So this is when chapter 6 comes in, the 6 of Wands. Because one person from this group of people from the Fire Clan is going to say, "Okay guys, that's enough. Let's stop fighting. I think your opinion's good. Your opinion is good. I agree with you, but let's all work together here." So this is when one person, emerges as the leader and sort of assigns roles and then bosses everybody around and then tells them what to do. This person brings all the members of the Fire Clan together so that they can work together again. So this person makes sure that all the members of the Fire Clan could contribute in their own way to the bigger picture or the bigger vision of the Fire Clan. Alright, and chapter 7, which is a chapter of curious expansion. In chapter 7, there's some sort of deviation or mutation of their ideology. They no longer want to follow the bigger group. They no longer want to follow the conventional route. So what happens is they try to break away from the group, and the group might be really shocked and kind of criticize them for it, And from this sort of tension and contrast, this is a good opportunity to really stand your ground, and in the act of defending yourself, you would try to flesh out your opinions and perspectives even more. You would try to, your own sense of identity and your own sense of your own vision, it will grow stronger because you're trying to delineate or you're trying to differentiate your vision from the bigger groups. So this is when you really, really start to define who you are as a person and how you're different from the group. So this is from the perspective of the anomaly. And if you're looking at this from the perspective of a group, you might feel like a sense of betrayal. You might feel like this person is like being rebellious, this person is a rebel, and you would try to impose or sort of uphold the group consciousness onto that person. And it's not really like a bad thing. I think ultimately it's about like recognizing that our path is going to be different now and we're going to go off in different directions, and it's not a bad thing. It's just that this is how it's going to go, and I'll go my way and you guys can just keep doing this. On to chapter 8, and as we all know, the 8 of Wands is one of the fastest moving cards in tarot. After chapter 7, after the members have sorted themselves out, after they've settled once again all the disagreements, all the anomalies, after they close that chapter, this is where they become even more united, because you know, the deviants, that sounds kind of negative, but the anomalies are gone, you know, they can go pursue their own thing, but we as a group know who we are, like we understand who we are even better because someone has challenged us, someone has challenged our perspective, and we now know, like even in a clearer sense, like what we're gonna do, what the spirit of the Fire Clan is, and this is where they become unstoppable. They just charge forward, they keep going. This is where they feel like, okay, this is exactly what we're gonna do. Now that all the distractions are gone, this is where we go full speed ahead and let's just go for it. So literally, just do it is the motto of the Fire Clan, and I can just imagine them like doing that like all the time. If you don't know, look up the meme. Yeah, so they're charging full speed ahead and on to chapter 9. So this is kind of like, it just makes me feel so like, my heart kind of aches for the Fire Clan because I feel like the reality of the Fire Clan is that eventually they're going to come to realize that some things cannot be done through sheer will. And you can always have that sheer will, you can push yourself forward. So, but you know, sometimes reality is very difficult and sometimes it doesn't really allow you to manifest exactly how you want it to. The fact that they're being met with resistance, I think it really strengthens their resolve. There's a sense of being disillusioned a little bit in chapter 9. They become kind of disillusioned about the nature of reality, about how difficult it can be when they're trying to achieve something, but people disagree with you, external circumstances might hinder you, lots of things come into play, and it's not just about what you desire. I feel like this is where their ego is a bit wounded because they feel like they could achieve everything. Remember, they just came from chapter 8, like they came from 8 of Wands. That's such a powerful card, but bam. So this is where they stop and reflect and kind of lick their wounds a little bit and recover, but they're still, you know, fighting strong. They still want to do it. It's just they have to pause a bit and kind of just keep things at bay and be like, okay, we need some time, but we're still gonna do it. So yeah, that's chapter 9. And eventually it gets to chapter 10. This is where sort of I feel like their disappointment and their sense of weight, like all the ideals they're carrying and all the visions they're carrying, this is where they really start to feel it on their shoulders. When the vision of the clan becomes too much to bear. Because remember, like, each individual is carrying the will of the clan. Each of them is carrying the vision and the ideal of the clan. And when that becomes too much, you know, I think it's really hard to bear and it's really hard to shoulder because a quest for an ideal it's nearly always an impossible one, or it's a very difficult one because you always have to compromise with reality. You always have to live with the fact that you might not achieve that ideal completely. You might never create that utopia that you've always wanted. I think the fact that there's still so much drive and so much momentum in the Fire Clan that the spirit doesn't die, even though it's very, very heavy, and it's heavy with the realization of what reality is actually like and how reality actually works. And it's also the realization about how far they have come and how much they have achieved. So yeah, everything becomes very, very heavy and they're just bearing everything down on their shoulders, and they're still going. They keep going and they keep going because the sheer will, the pure intention, and that drive and that passion, even though it's weighted down, that's what seals the fate of Fire Clan. That's what seals their fate. That's what defines them as a group of people. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that story. I really enjoyed telling it. You know, the story of the wands has always been a favorite, just because I can really relate to that element. Okay, and that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you later.